Hello, everyone. uh, so yeah, here we are. Um, obviously, you all know. Everyone that's probably watching this probably knows who Ethan is. So
Perhaps.
everyone probably knows like who Ethan is more than me, I guess, because I'm the new one on the town in the Illuminati in the occult scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I think we should probably because it was actually my idea to like start this thing to like. By the way, I'm just putting it out there. I legit just woke up like 20 minutes ago, like half an hour ago, so I'm still pretty like out of it. Because we were meant to do this for like over a week now, and I just honestly it's probably on me. I kept like pushing it forward because I was doing who knows what. But yeah, I
Yeah, I
guess
wasn't. I
yeah.
wasn't super first. I definitely can probably take some of the blame as well.
But yeah, no, I just thought because like the when like the Illuminati like talks and like when we record videos for that, it's kind of a shit show. So I just thought like, maybe I might bring some people on from there and just have a chill talk, More like again like a serious talk, but like, chill and it's not bullshitty,
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I guess the best place to start is just I guess introduction and like into like what your like not practices but like I guess general like worldview, because I guess that's where everything stems from,
Yeah, makes sense to me. Let's see.
I guess a good place to start is like, do you believe in like gods, or what's your thoughts towards other consciousness that don't like have like physical they don't have like a physical form in this reality,
Hmm. Yeah, so I definitely believe in gods. I have a bit of a kind of a Christian perspective where I see there is kind of like one maybe consciousness at the top of a hierarchy, perhaps, and but I also have a kind of Unitarian perspective where I see all of the pantheons as pretty similarly um, realistic and able to be worked with and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's I think that's a pretty like a controversial stance to have in the occult community now, because again, anything that's even slightly remotely resembling Christianity usually gets torn to shreds by left hand path magicians, or like those types,
Yeah,
Luciferians and like
I've
Satanists. But yeah,
been saying this lately, but I think the left hand path community kind of needs bhakti or devotional yoga practice, or at least a lot of people in it do. Um,
yeah, the left hand path needs a lot of things. uh,
I'll try not to comment on that too much. I could probably rant about that for a minute.
I mean that's like that's another video idea right there, that'll definitely bring the views in. Yeah, because again, while I don't like dogma or anything like that, I do the left hand path as like a I guess a quote unquote community or like a collective really grinds on my fucking gears. That's why I'm like right now I'm kind of like fucking around with like ceremonial magic and like I guess more traditional stuff. Not because I necessarily like the people on like the right hand path or like the middle hand path, but like the people on like the left hand path really get on my nerves to the point where like I can't be around them,
I could see that,
Yeah, because
especially with
like
some people.
I genuinely have a decent to good relationship with so far the majority of like the infernal beings that I've like interacted with, So it's not that I have an issue with like, say Azazel or like a Maimon or like stuff like that. Like again, if I've had nothing but good experiences with the majority of them, So again, it's not that I have an issue with like the system. I just can't stand I just can't stand the attitude that most like left-hand path people have.
I mean, I can definitely relate to that. I feel like I've gotten along quite well with a lot of, yeah, what you could call infernal beings or what are seen as that. But uh, I don't know. I think it's really funny. Like a lot of things I've learned from those beings, I don't see being lived out by a lot of left-hand practitioners sometimes. So
Yeah, because
it's
actually my experience with like some of these like quote unquote dark entities, they've actually appeared as like quite celestial or like angelic. For example, the I believe he's like the 57th spirit of the Goetia, called Oso or Oso it's a hard name to pronounce, so I just say Oso, but it's the 70 it's the 57th spirit of the Goetia. And when my experience with him, that he was a very like high vibrational being. He was like very celestial, very like very again what you like imagine like an angel to be. He was an angel, so that kind of got my my mind wandering. If like all like if all of like the Goetia spirits are even infernal in nature, but again I am pretty new to this stuff, so like it's more of like just my first impressions than anything solid that anyone should probably take serious. But
yeah, maybe. I know there's definitely some entities in the Goetia where the description of them is very dark, a lot darker than some of the rest of them, but I don't know that I've worked with any of them personally enough to say um, if they're exactly like that. But I would say that I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm still like, because I think there's only around like 6 or 7 that I am like pretty familiar at this point. Because I actually I've had like a calling to work with the Croatia for years. Like I remember since I was like 15, Bal kind of rolled up into my life and was kind of just there for years. So I didn't even know he was Bal until like recently. And he was just being kind of there, kind of trying to nudge me into the direction of like working with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I had Beelzebub hanging around in my energy for a couple of years before I started working with the darker entities.
Yeah. Again, I think it's even like I think that a lot of these dark entities, I think they do probably have a like a quote unquote lighter or higher vibrational version of themselves. Like for example, I think Zazel, he actually has like an angelic and sorry, an angelic aspect of him. I'm pretty sure him and the archangel Raphael, they're actually the same being. But it's actually quite funny because like you hear in like in Enochian circles that like Raphael is like one of like the angels that have like the like the most hate boner for like Azazel. And it's just I think I heard it from Ash that like it's just when these like entities who have like multiple masks, they kind of like to have those like masks of each other, like fight each other just for like the entities of personal amusement. And it's just I think that's a great metaphor for like the left hand path and the right hand path right there. At the end of
Yeah,
the day, it's still all the same entities behind it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That kind of interested me about the left-hand path when I was looking into it. Was how much they work with like Solomonic things and entities and just kind of like changed it a little bit.
Yes. 'Cause, like
Which
again, I'm not a fan of like the dogma or anything like that, but I do genuinely find like a lot of like right hand path systems and magic that have been used for like centuries. I do find that really interesting. Like I'm actually going through now the grimoire of like Horus or something, like not like a Horus. It's do you know that Pope guy? Do you know that guy? Like uh, again, I'm still like half asleep, so I don't remember offhand, but like it's a really like again it's like one of the grimoires I love, like right hand path magicians to use. And the thing is, as like grimoire, it's actually very interesting, and I just like that stuff.
yeah, I mean you don't have to. I don't know. You don't have to be dogmatic definitely to get benefits out of it. The structured and like understood and tried things are definitely worth looking at. I think.
even like I know this is like controversial as well, but like even like the Bible, you can read the Bible as like a grimoire, and it makes the Bible like so much more interesting.
Very painful too. It's not like just a book of like all these good things or anything like that. I don't know.
Mm. I think
Although I
I think the man Eccles said like the Bible is like it's like a book of at least with the Old Testament, it's a book about kings for kings, so that it was inherently written as like an occultic kind of work, because again the common man was like never meant to get like access to that book. So
oh,
that's why I think like when you actually like, for example, like talk with like entities like the literal, I guess maybe like entity like behind like say Jesus or something like that, that like it's very different to what you get in the actual Bible, because you're not meant to take a lot of what's in that like quite literally, as like say some like as say like the Bible Belt in like America does, you know.
oh, I don't know. I think it's pretty literal, but I definitely see what you're saying.
Again, I'm just new to this as well, so and the thing is like unlike most occultists, I don't actually have like a Christian background. Like I've said this like to several people already, but I've functionally been like a pagan for most if not all my life, just because I live in a Catholic country. And it's pretty obvious. It's like again you have this in like Mexico with like the saints and all that. Like anywhere that's Catholic, usually it's just like there's a very like pagan like overtone throughout the whole thing, you know.
I was gonna ask you, do you celebrate the pagan holidays?
Oh yeah, like actually a lot of the pagan holidays that what you call them Wiccans celebrate actually are rooted in Irish celebrations. Like Samhain is actually an Irish word. And Imbolc is actually we call it St. Bridget's Day. It's like the 1st of February. It's meant to be like the star of spring. And Baltana is also another traditional Irish celebration as well. The winter solstice, fuck, the winter solstice as well is again it's part of this like the whole like Celtic system that like Wicca kind of takes and like rapes. Uh, I could that's something I could rant about for like hours. Is just the state of like Celtic polytheism outside of like Irish circles, and even inside Irish circles is pretty. It can get dodgy in some groups as well.
Mm, that would be interesting.
Yeah, again, I'd have
Yeah,
I'd have to be more sound of mind to record that, because again, like right now I'm pretty fucking out of it. But yeah.
I have some. I have like half of a fairy oracle deck, or maybe it's not even an oracle deck. It's like a tarot. I don't know if it's tarot or oracle, but it has the. I think it's 12 festival cards. And I was wondering where some of those words came from. So that's interesting.
The thing is, like a lot of like native practitioners here in Ireland don't actually fuck around with the fairies. Like the fairies are like, well, I'm not sure if like the fairies or like the Sheed are the Loa. I think they're the way that say example people in like Katie kind of go towards like the Loa. There's like a similar attitude towards like the fairies here. Like they're not like Tinkerbell or like do you know like the fairy godmother or something like that. They're actually very like feared beings. Which again, I'm not sure how
Mm-hmm.
much dogma or how much of that is actually out of like safety. So yeah.
Because I mean, people have experiences, they'll get really close and get freaked out, and it's just like I don't. I mean, I've heard some of the worst kinds of stories about interacting with the fairies. Like if you eat anything, you might be stuck there and stuff like that. So it's definitely something to take
Yeah,
very
there's
very
actually
cautiously. I
yeah,
would
actually like when
stand.
like the government when like the road safety authority like they go out and like they plan like to do new roads and stuff like that. If whenever like they try to like uproot like an old road, they always like ask the locals about like if there's like any fairy hills or like fairy forts around on the path.
Incredible.
They say it's actually for cultural reasons, but like every time that a road was made here that kind of fucked up like a fairy circle or something like that, there's always accidents on that road. So
Right.
you know,
Incredible. Very real life implications right there.
Again, like it's always done under the gist of like historical and cultural per preservation, but like it's pretty obvious the real reason why they do it, you know.
It's like we're a little scared of fairies, so could you talk to us?
Yeah, and like there's actually like there was this like one billionaire who used to like own like an insurance company, and like he used to do like a quarry or something like that. He used to own like a quarrying company or something like that. And one of his like one of his sites, he actually kind of ordered for like an old like ferry fort to be dismantled. And like in a matter of like several months, he lost everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I know some people might be like the most fondest of like Thomas Sherrington, but he Thomas Sherrington actually has an old video that goes into it that it's a very good video. I'll link it in the description if like anyone's interested. But yeah, like it's quite serious how this stuff is taken here. Again, it is always done under like the gist of like cultural preservation or something like that. But it's there is like again people, especially the older generations, take this stuff very serious.
Yeah, that's one thing that does kind of scare me about the future is how the kids kind of just don't have the orientation to know what to take seriously, and a lot of the spiritual teachings around the world are just kind of not as prevalent in the younger generation at the moment.
Yeah, I do very much blame that on like how Americanized the world is becoming. You know how like consumerism is just kind of taking the world by storm. And like again, I do kind of blame the internet for that as well. I mean, not to be like old like an old geriatric right now, like saying that like you know the internet is like the root of all evil, but like again there is a very real cultural effect. I don't even just see it here, like I see it for example like for example you know like you see like Indians and like online, you know, and like you know it's just kind of like I guess upsetting to see how much like how much like the Americanization of like other cultures is like it's just kind of you know watering down those cultures, you know, if that makes sense.
Mm. I mean, the internet's definitely, I guess, it is in some way America's fault directly for building it that way, but it's very airy and ungrounded. So a lot of
Yeah.
like just massive amounts of information in single areas that you don't have you know, like if you go to school you kind of get the connections of what it pertains to and stuff like that, but there's definitely hazards with the internet with that.
Yeah. So the funny thing here is like when I was growing up, even though it was the 2000s, because I'm so rural, the area I live in is very rural. It was basically like the mid 90s here, and it was very interesting like over the years to see how quickly things just changed suddenly. Like I remember it being from like 2007 2000 from 2007 2012, there was like just a huge like cultural shift. Like it was unreal like looking back on it, but like things advanced like 2 decades in a matter of like half a decade, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
And it is quite sad because again like I grew up in a very like traditional, like not like traditional in like an American sense, you know, like the traditional like the quote unquote the traditional like family with like you know the picket rights fence and stuff like that, but like genuine tradition, you know, like traditions that have been going on for like hundreds if not thousands of years, you know. And it's very sad to like see that being slowly eroded away, you know, and replaced by like consumerism and like you know
Honestly,
secularism and stuff like that.
possible paths as well because I mean, people are always looking for you know, that kind of external culture that vibes with them or whatever, and all these external books that have just crazy information or whatever. But a lot of the really important stuff is like what you can find in your tradition or your home culture.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because again, like a lot of people here again get like pulled into like the new agey stuff because they are trying to find something, but like again, but it's kind of it just doesn't make sense because again at the same time like our culture is so rich, like there's so much like inherent like magic and stuff like that that has been practiced for again centuries, you know, because we are a Catholic country and we still have that connection with you know the other side, you know, that I guess you know a lot of like say Protestant countries here in Europe, like say like Scandinavia and stuff like that, even though like the Norse stuff is coming back, but like for you know for the longest time like it's kind of funny that actually that it was actually like Norse paganism that's like catching on when like those countries were like ass raped the hardest with like the Reformation by what you call them, um the guy who like started Protestantism, Martin Luther, that's it, like again like Britain and like from like Britain to like Germany to like Scandinavia was just absolutely wiped, absolutely ass raped by like the spread like fuck. My stir is awful this morning. I'm sorry. Ooh, but yeah, like again Thomas Sharon actually made a brilliant video like again a couple of years ago on the fact that like most people like look externally while you know neglecting what's around them, because again we have like for example where I'm living right now there's about like maybe like a dozen places of power that I could name offhand. You know, that's not even like knowing like the actual like secret places where like that holds like a lot of energy. You know, that's just like what's commonly known around here. Again, there's so much power and stuff like that around here, and people don't tap into it. Which again, I say there's probably a benefit of it, but like you know, because again, it allows these places to like rest and like you know gain the power. But yeah.
Yeah, there's also the counter argument, which is that it's probably our responsibility to be good representatives of our culture and traditions, and to you know bring these into the I guess consumer environment of the new age and etc., where people are looking for these things.
Yeah, that's why like my plan is right now is to get like an Irish degree, because I'm actually in the area I am is, without like giving too much detail out, is like it is one of like the last like I like genuine like native Irish speaking places in the country. I mean by my accent you could probably narrow it down pretty quickly, but like yeah, because again the way for example like the use of like Irish words in like the new agey kind of like Wiccan community, like it genuinely makes me like physically cringe when I see someone like using an Irish word and they don't know how to use it.
I get
Like the
that
thing
way.
is the thing Yeah, the thing is like, do you know when people say like I want to learn Gaelic, the language isn't even called Gaelic. The Irish language is not called Gaelic, it's called Gaelga. And it's just that
Uh,
just basic 101 stuff like that just gets under my skin so
explains why
much. Sorry?
why it's so hard to pronounce.
Yeah. Like it genuinely makes me really upset when I think about like the state of like the Irish language. I say the Irish language so like people know what I'm talking about, but it is called, it's like the name. See, Irish is a very funny language because unlike English, people when most native speakers treat the Irish language in itself as a living, breathing entity, if that makes sense. So like when you're talking Irish, you're not just talking, you're like invoking this kind of this poetic kind of force, you know. It's actually quite
Yeah,
interesting. I have to be in like the right state of mind to go into it because it gets very like deep and complicated very very fast. But again, that's why like for example the Irish tradition of like poetry and like writing, because again I think we're like one of like the best we our nation like produced most if not yeah most of like the sorry most of like the best writer like not again obviously when it comes to like art and like writing is all objective, but like you know like for example we have like Yeats, Ulysses, that book that was written by an Irish guy. So again, this inherent like poetry and stuff like that it is kind of connected to our culture and our language, you know.
hmm
Yeah.
Ulysses is
I'm sorry to explain it all great like that again because I'm still half asleep. But yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where you're going with that, and
Yeah.
you should definitely get that.
Yeah. The thing about Irish though, it is a very complicated language. Like if you've only ever like known English, Irish is like I like again because people think Irish is because it sounds like really cutesy and very musical and very like la la, but like again Irish is very intense. Like if again I'm very lucky and honored to have it from such a young age because again a lot of it is innate and intuitive to me. But like if an American actually genuinely like sat down and tried to learn Irish, they would have a hell of a time being totally honest.
I believe it.
Yeah, because it's not even like other like European languages because again the Celtic languages are very insular again because obviously Gaul isn't a thing right now in like mainland Europe, so it's very much Welsh, Gaelic, like Scots Gaelic. Because the thing with Gaelic, you can say Scots Gaelic, but you can't say Irish Gaelic. When you're talking about the Irish language, it is Gaelga. So yeah, but yeah, I guess it's Gaeilge, Scots Gaelic, Welsh, and there's something on the Isle of Man that it's another Gaelic language. I think it's similar to Gaeilge, but again I don't know off the top of my head what it's called, but yeah. So uh, this conversation has taken a wild left turn from like talking about like the infernals to the Irish language of all things.
Yeah, my bad. I got curious.
Yeah. Again, I'll admit myself, I am a bit rusty about it because the thing is when I'm talking about Irish on my own, I do mispronounce a lot of things. But like when I'm talking to another native speaker about it, or even just talking casually in Irish to a native speaker, it brings back all the things from my childhood, and like I'm like a fluent speaker again. But again, when I'm on my own saying it, I sound barely literate in
in
Irish.
the auric field of the Irish.
Yeah, but yeah, like yeah, that's something I have to make a probably like a full on video about sometime. But I like to procrastinate mainly because I'm like afraid of like recording my stutter because I have an awful stutter as you all probably know from your limited exposure to me in like the last like week or two. But yeah,
Not too bad.
the thing is like when I listen back to myself, I think it's awful because again I judge myself harsher than anyone probably cares to judge me. But yeah.
You gotta just really identify with the content you're putting out, and that'll help you see past it probably. Because when
Yeah.
I get really nervous watching my own videos, but I mean, a lot of the time I feel like they're really well done by the time I get to the end of it. So I think it's just getting that content in there that you really appreciate yourself putting out.
Yeah. Again, it's just I probably need confidence and I probably need the experience. But yeah, again, that's why I wanted like try to make some of these videos like every other week maybe, or like not every other week, but like once a week or like a few times a week, just chatting casually and stuff like with people in like a genuine way. Because again, there's a lot of me shit posty stuff on on I guess Occult tube or something like that. But yeah. But again, I just because again I'm just getting started in like actual like as a like a practitioner. Like I'm still like getting like the basics down. So like I probably don't like have like the most like crazy like experience that like most people have. Like I again I'm well I've always kind of communicated with like spirits and stuff like that just instinctually. Like I always had like a inclination towards like the stuff. My experiences have been pretty tame and like like I haven't had like crazy like traumatic experiences with like that like everyone wants to talk about. I'm just kind of here doing my own thing.
Sound like a
Mm. Whew. But yeah. Again, I don't know what to talk about now. I hope my voice. I think my voice is starting to go as well. God damn it.
Well, we've said I'm gonna cut it off here. Oh wait, I guess I'll ask you this real quick because I want to name drop Robert Anton Wilson. Have you heard of Robert Anton Wilson?
No, I have not. But then again, I'm only like new to like actually doing like practical shit in the occult. So again, I might check them out because right now I'm like devouring anything occultic I can take. And when I say devouring, I mean like read like the first like chapter or two, skip a few chapters, read some like random paragraphs, and like take my chances with what I read and see what comes out of it.
Oh, but Robert Anton Wilson is like a big conspiracy, language, and mentalism, kind of more philosophy geared than occultism directly. But he also gets into a lot of occult topics. But yeah, he was really into Ireland and the Irish culture and talked about it quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, like I do try to avoid people who go like into conspiracies and stuff like that, just because like I don't want to like go down like the crazy route. Do you know, like anything like involving like aliens or like like that kind of
He'll
stuff.
have you. He'll have you pretty
Sorry.
quick. But he'll sounding crazy pretty quick, but it's some incredible information in my opinion.
I don't know that. It's just I can't. Again, like an American like talking about aliens, it just gets on my nerves so much that I can't stand to go through it. Uh, but yeah. Yeah, that's actually something I should probably do this week. Is a short video on like talking about the Irish language. That's like maybe not like scripted, but like somewhat structured, so I know what I'm saying. Oh, I do have actually that actually reminds me. I did have like a. This is actually one of the more weirder experiences that I had. I was actually doing a ritual to like Lilith before. I think it was before New Year's. I think around like the last week or two in December. And before I did the ritual, I have like this Irish dictionary, and like this it's like a really thick, like, do you know one of those really thick books that's like like a few thousand pages long? And that actually fell opened, and like it fell opened on the page that says um I forget exactly what it says, but it translated to "May God hear us" or something like that. So yeah, yeah. Ooh. Oh, we've actually been going on for like half an hour. If you want to like wrap this up or something like that, because I know you had to say you only had like a half an hour to do this, but yeah.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, cool. Again, sorry this has been like a mess. I mean, it was better late than never, and again, I'll throw this up on YouTube, but yeah, but I guess you have to start somewhere, even
Ah,
though this is, I tried.
that ended up working out pretty well. So
Yeah.
thanks for having me on your channel.
No problem. And again, I hope to have you on again when it's more structured and I know what I'm doing.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess that wraps it up. But yeah, again, it's a rough first episode, but we have to start somewhere. But yeah. All right, yeah, we'll I guess see you guys whenever I decide to do this again. Which again, maybe like again sometimes this next week, or again it could be like the next several months. You never know with me. Any parting words you want to say to the lovely YouTube folk?
Uh, nope. I think I'm good. Aloha, everyone.
Awesome. All right. So I guess that's it. All right. Just all right. Uh, you can tell that again. We're very professional here. I don't know how to turn off the recording.
You
Oh,
can
it's here.
click at the top of the screen.
Yeah, I see. Oh, I see it now. I'm a dumbass. But yeah, again, right.